with all of you. Um, I'm actually blessed to be here because I'm dealing with something with my son. He's doing okay, but well, we'll get into it in a second. Nothing crazy. Um, but we have some interesting prospects here this evening. We'll talk about if the wave C, if the upside starts, this would be our bullish continuation here, which would lead us ultimately, likely, into a drop that could bring us to sub $1, but this would be the emphasis for that build up. And then we would get to a make it or break it zone, whether we're ready to push up and out or if we're ready to, in fact, cave way in. But obviously, there's some metrics that still need to be had to see if this is, in fact, the wave C that'll start here. Um, I think it's going to be a very opportune live for anybody who decides to show up, for anybody who decides to, take a little bit of time and, bet on themselves. So I think it'll be a nice live. Um, and I'm actually really excited to do it. So good evening. 8:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Friday, January 16th, 2026. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So me and Julie made a homemade pizza from scratch, and it was pretty good. We have a pizza stone we use, put it in the oven, shredded, or I did our own mozzarella, and we did the pepperoni, and we did it in that with breadsticks, and it came out pretty good. Um, Trial and error, obviously, so we'll see how it goes next time. But good time for our first attempt. Um, and now we are doing this, so I'm very happy about that. My son has a little bit of a skin infection, like on his face, right here, and then his eyes. Had to see the doctor, and it's not pink eye. They didn't say. It looks more like his eyes not red, but he's got red around. And they said they think it started with like dry lips, and then he's nonverbal and autistic, so like he's always licking his lips and stuff. So it could have got infected, but it's, so you want to kind of nip that in the bud. So he's on a little antibiotic and a couple of creams. So he said it's not contagious or anything. So we'll see how it goes over the weekend, and hopefully, no further discussion with doctors or anything like that will be necessary. Um, yeah, so it's one of those things. So, but I'm glad to be here. Julie's about to do his feeding, and she just put the stuff on his eye and his face, and he's gonna get his antibiotic after. So we shall see. Joseph Euler, thanks for the gifted sub and being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. I really, really appreciate that, my friend. Really appreciate that. And Silver Days, perfect person to get it, gets the gifted sub. Second month with the Dusty Autos Crypto News. How awesome is that? Silver Days is in here all the time for years. Definitely deserve that. Welcome into the Army, back into the Army in the Silver Days. Mrs. Stott and Mr. Stott, welcome in, and thanks for reading Tom's Army 3+ months with the XRP Meteor. The Gap Man in Tom's Army for over 3 years with the XP Diamond Hands badge. Indiana's going to win the national title. I think it has the potential to be by 15 or more points. So, could be something there to take advantage of. Big Dog, good evening, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 6+ months with the XP Predictor. K9 Bruno, 2 Ravens, thanks for being in Tom's Army for 2 years with the XP 589 Moon badge. Mark Caston, Crazy Paul, thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So bad. Totally awesome. And Michael. He's eating a snack already. Well, at least he's got an appetite. And then, like you said, it can allow that to settle in. And Michael and Totally Awesome. And I also wanted to thanks for being in Tom's Army 3+ months with the XRP Meteor. And Mark Caston over 1 year with the I Told You So bad. Such a beautiful audience with support. 2 Ravens for over 2 years with the XP 589 Moon badge. Jordan, good evening. John Allen, welcome in. Zazar, good evening. Seta and Mario, welcome. Nick Nack, Patty Whack, give a dog a bone. Welcome in with the positive vibes only. This is a milk bone. J Bars, good evening. Oliver, thanks for not only being in Tom's Army for over 1 year at the I Told You So badge, but also a gift that's up. And it went to Mario. I know Mario is going to appreciate that. Mario is in here quite often. How awesome is that? Two people that really would appreciate the gifted subs got it. That's why it's so important to gift a sub to the fellow community members if you have it in your heart to pay it forward. That's an awesome way to start the weekend, let me tell you. And congratulations, Mario. Thanks for your dedication and being in Tom's Army now for your first month. Get in the Telegram. Go to YouTube, go to the memberships area, and get into the Telegram. Then you'll really be thanking Oliver. Again, thank you, Oliver, so much. So very much. Because I was typing Italian, just as you were explaining T's problem, didn't even make the connection while I was typing, was just for pronunciation. Hey, I think it fit though. I think it fit. So let's get, and Mr. Stott, thank you so much for being here. Frankie Fresh, good evening, and thanks for being in town for 6+ months with the X-Free Predictor. And Janine, I hope you're watching and you're having a blessed evening, love. Thank you so much for being a part of this. I love you and Frankie Fresh like we're family that I've never met. It's so weird. So weird. It's like that with a lot of you guys in here, that especially the ones we've created this bond with. So, if you want to know about the possible C wave, if it actually plays out and we don't get invalidated, you know, let's just talk about how this could be. So, and it's an interesting prospect. But I mean, in theory, it could play out. And we'll talk about it. I want to know what everybody's feeling right now about the charts. I want to try something a little different. Before I get in here and I start explaining it all, is there anything when you're looking at the XRP chart that stands out? Is there anything that when you look at the XRP chart you looked at before you came on and you're like, I really wish that we could have talked about this, that, or I wish I understood this a little bit deeper? Is there something you want to know about what you're looking at? And I would love to know. Not a huge audience right now. It should grow as people are here, you know, as the time goes. So it'll be a lot harder. Once that happens. But I really would honestly like to know. Plus, then it gets me, I get to know the audience a little bit better. Let's see. Looks like an inverted head and shoulders. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. That plays into this. Absolutely. It looks like this is the right shoulder on this side. 100%. Could not agree more. Could not agree more. And it also looks like you have a nice double bottom pushed into here. Shoulder up here. Shoulder over here. Pull down. So I couldn't agree more. And what ends up happening here is if this actually plays out, you have A. And it's going to end up playing out. And it would be something like this. And that would assume the first leg up. I'll just show you. There's nothing better than to just show it. And for anybody who's here, I hope you do appreciate it. I tend to like to, I don't know, I'm feeling a different vibe this year in 2026, and it's a good one. I feel very helpful vibe. So let's just say that this is the part of a B corrective, right? This could be the C out. And in my expectation, it would come out somewhere around, I would say 248 to 250, somewhere in this range is what I would think. Now, it could be higher, like it could expand up here, but I think at least in this area would be fair. I think this would be fair, that it would be doing something like that. And then you start a fresh big wave down. I think this could be the ABC corrective up. And I think this would make more sense if I was on the other chart. Because then you could actually see why this would make sense. What it's building and, you know, the reality of what we think could happen. But obviously the Elliott wave is only a theory. And you don't really know. But if you start here and you're like, okay, we had a one up, corrective down. We bang it out for C. Now, does it come all the way up here? Does it come a little bit lower? You know, but I think we could be, if it's on the up track, this is what you'd be looking at. I'm hoping we get something like this playing out. And then we also have that broadening wedge, or what I call it the megaphone. So if we play out deeper, you know, but then if you come up there, then all of a sudden you got to talk about, right? You're going to be talking about if it comes up there. Now do you start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down? Do you just do a, like, what are we doing here? Or is this actually the start of a 5 wave? So if it's a 5 wave, and yeah, this could be interesting if it is, but we speculate because we think it's going to come down after the 3 waves because just the way the charts are setting up, and it looks like even a drop below $1 could end up hitting after that. But what if it was something like, oh, we did start with this, we do something like this, come back down just a little bit, maybe it's, I don't know, it's nothing major, and then we start to break up. Now, would you come up here? You know, would it do something like that? Or do we stretch this out and then like from 2 to 3 it actually would come up there? I don't know, I think that might be too extended, and then 5 comes out. Like, could you do something like that? That would be, you know, if we want to talk like, oh my God, we broke bullish. Could we have started a 5 wave up, but wave 5 and 3, there's just a lot of invalidations that can happen, but what if we started something like that? I don't know. We can't possibly answer that. I'd say let's stick with the ABC first. And then, you know, let's get out of here, but it looks to me more like the ABC, the corrective wave, but if we can't hold the invalidation zone, this will be a moot point. I'm not sure it is because I think the path of least resistance for Bitcoin is going to 100,000 still with the short options or the short traders that'll be liquidated like really hard. So the path of least resistance is there, but in the end the trend is down. So once this plays out, that would likely be the case. But I think we can dissect this and we can talk about this as a group. And for anybody who's going to be in the classes in February, we have 14 people signed up right now, and I'm going to put a class list out on YouTube, and then I'm going to pass out as well for anybody who's interested a Zoom link, and there's going to be special things that we can do there, maybe later, but that'll be later. But for now, I'm going to put out a class syllabus or a class, who's ever in the class, so you guys know who it is. And we can actually talk on YouTube. I put a community section on there, so we can actually talk on YouTube in regards to things about the class. It's like a little chat room on YouTube now, something they opened up. Can we look at the chart, how you get the 10 to 20? That's down the road. That's my target. That's something that's not on paper I mean, it is. But as of right now, that's not what I'm worried about. $10 to $20 is where I think this is ultimately going to end up. And everything we're projecting out is going to get into that zone. Like, that's been my projection from 2021. Yes, can we get to 1,000? Probably not. But can we get to $10 to $20? And people are like, oh, that's a slow play. You're a piece of... You should see what they call me on Facebook. It's funny. But it's the truth. I think realistically we can get to those zones. But first, we can't get there, Mark, and I love the question, until we break down the 549 and 638. Once we get past there, okay. But if we can't get past those areas right now and we invalidate that push initially, like once we get past here, if we could break out of this and not break down past $1.58 if we come back down, and that's like a triple buy, like if we don't break this down or we invalidate, guys, this is the other thing. If we invalidate this this descending or whatever the hell you want to call this triangle that built here to the downside, and the small from right here from 355, and it started right here at $1.65 on April 2nd. If we can invalidate this, all we have to do is get the hell out of this, and we can try to invalidate this structure when we get past 235, 240-ish. You know, we could invalidate this. We could get out of here. So, but Mark, once we get over all of this, it's a measured movement, but it takes, in my own opinion, it's going to take something like this. And I can use the Elliott wave so you can see just for a basis. So you see how all of this built from here? To me, it would be something like this. So you come like this. This is all a big correction right now, if it played out. But I'm not sure that this is the structure that's doing this. Then you would get a huge movement back up here, likely up to, you know, it would just be a massive, massive movement to come back up here. You probably would, you know, if it played out in a proper way, you could get massive movement out of here. And then you'd probably correct back down. And then 5 would get you up into, I think it would get, if you played out something like that, you could very easily see yourself getting in the $10 plus zone. Easy, because this wave would have to be bigger than the first. So, I mean, you could easily see yourself pushing that 10, 15, 17, 18. But, I mean, this would have to play out just right, and this would have had to be the start of something impressive. Which is it? It could be. It could be. You know, it very well could be. But we have to see. And right now, all we can do is play with what we are given. But right now, like I've said, I'm bullish on XRP until we break down what looks like a bullish megaphone. And that takes coming below. You know, we got a lot lower to go to break that down. Yeah, that's true. 3 does have to be the long. Well, this is just hypothetical. This wasn't supposed to be like, you know, wasn't supposed to be like something ridiculous. You know, I wasn't trying to be like professional, but I was trying to just like an example. But yeah, I mean, hypothetically, if it started out that big down here, I mean, you're talking about a pretty big fucking movement. If this went 347 from all the way down here at 51, and then it back test all the way down here at $1.57, you're probably talking about movement. I mean, shit, this right here was a 53 cents to 315, so that's a $2.85 move. So, I mean, you're talking about on this movement right here, probably, where did it start? 152, 430. I mean, I don't hate. I wouldn't hate. Well, that's not big enough on the third wave, but I think you understand where I'm trying to get here. Like, I don't hate that so much. I know it might have to be a little bit higher from over the top, but I don't hate something like that. If we're starting the miracle push, let's say we are starting that push. Well, 5 can't be that high. But let's just say we are starting some kind of a push, and maybe we're starting something like this all of a sudden. But yeah, Poppy Lou, I love your understanding. But yeah, I'm glad you said that, because you got to make sure that 3's not smaller than 1, and the third is the biggest wave. But you also have to make room for, like, if there's corrective. So, and then that's why we talk about maybe it's either that, or we really are doing some kind of weird ABC here that'll break us down, right? So, as much as we want to be overtly bullish, we understand that, man, it really does look like we're building into something here in the short term. Like, it feels like it makes sense to build into a 3 waves up kind of thing. It really does. Well, this can't be way up there. I think you understand what I'm trying to say, though. This is all speculation and conjecture, actually. You know, I think you guys understand. But we're just trying to project here what could happen in a really super bullish scenario. And then it forms this W we talked about before as well. Massive W here. Man, it could turn into something special. I think we're on the money, though. We were right when it was breaking bearish. And Nick and MQ and some of you others that are in here that validate this during the lives, especially. We were on live 2 hours earlier. And we were on the ball talking about that reversal. And then we talked about where we wanted to get a close and where we wanted to. And we needed at least $2.06. And I said I would like it to at least hit 208. But we discussed and we decided over $2.06 was fine. Like, that would be fine. And at least we closed over 206. So, I don't know. I really like this kind of discussion. And I like talking about stuff like this. I really do. It makes me happy to discuss this with my friends. And you're all my friends. What's this? Mark Caston, thank you so much. You didn't have to do that. Already in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So Bad, but also a $3 super chat. Like, that's incredibly generous. Not only about the paid monthly subscription to support my work, but now a super chat. It's hard-earned money too, my friend, and that's very much appreciated. Anybody who was watching the miners earlier, do you remember what we were talking about with the gold and silver miners? I said, I know First Majestic is down like 4%, and Fortuna was down like 4.5% this morning. You see what happened with First Majestic? We don't need gold and silver to go up. Silver was down 3 to 5% most of the day, and Fortuna said, I'm going to do this, friends. And it literally did. It reversed from down here at 1892 and came up to 21. I mean, that's a remarkable turnaround. Remarkable. Isn't it? That's from Thursday night. Then today it pulled back down to 1938, and then it pulled back up to 2146. That's what they do. I talked about the options expiring, so a lot of people panic sold. I mean, you're talking about this went back down to 1933, and now it went up 10%. Look how much it went up. 11% from the bottom today. That's an amazing recovery. 11% from the bottom. Even B2 Gold came up from the bottom. It had a rough start at 449, pop back up to 460. You had Dolly Varden put on a gain. That's going to be a hot one next week, it looks like. Down to 470. And that's an incredible back test of the last layer of defense. Look at this. This is, oh my God. I'm like, I sit here with the miners and I talk about it today. I know it looked bad. Oh man. And it wasn't a huge movement today, but it was still up about $1,000 in the miners today. After, I don't even know what it was down earlier. I didn't look when it was down, but I'm like, wow, with that one being up where it's at, and then some of the other ones down a little bit, it was still positive. In the miners, yeah, Mrs. Stott. I'm not, like I said, I'm not looking to sell these right now. Like Julie told me, she doesn't even care if they drop 30%. We built this up from like $40,000, so it's just a tiny bit over 6 figures. And all we were trying to do was make back the money from her car, because she bought a car, she was smart with it. And she trusted me that I could start slowly over time putting money back in. And I told her I was going to do it through the miner section because she was smart enough to buy physical gold and silver when gold was at $1,900 and silver was at $19. She decided instead of putting it in some high yield savings account or something, that was her investment, and she's damn proud of it.
On purpose.
Yep. Wow.
The shovel.
Yep. That's funny with the plow. And then she also was smart though, because she had a little bit more.
I don't even think
And I think it was like 20,000 or something, and she put it into a bond. Just it gets 4.5%. Now I don't know what it is, but she was smart with that, and she did a real good job. PLG I own. Believe it or not, I did buy one thing today. Julie, I didn't tell you. I did. I expanded my position. I bought PLG. I didn't want to tell the audience earlier, but when it made that big drop down, I upped my position to 2,000 shares, just over 2,000 shares now. I thought it was an incredible gift today. It was down in the 250s again. I couldn't resist. I feel like it's going to break out. I feel like this is a big breakout potential, and the technical target is up at $24. So I don't care if it goes down, to be honest. I wanted more opportunity, so I actually took advantage of the rug pull a little bit today. It was down like 8%. Sorry to bring it up. What did you bring up, Crazy Paul? What did I miss? But Crazy Paul, thanks for being in Tom's Iron for over 1 year with the I Told You So Bad's Mark Caston. Oh, LAES, still watching it very closely. I still feel like it's, I don't know. I don't know yet. I don't know. I know I've kicked myself in the past for not buying at least 1,000 shares of this, and I continue to. I was really hoping it would come back and retest this area when it broke this down, but I have to be honest with myself for a second with the technical. So it came through like this and like this. There is the risk that this never does fall through and that it actually hit a decisive uptrend. What we're looking for is a breakdown into the $2.93 area. And then a break below that, and then we could build. I want to see this build. This is probably just me being greedy. But I keep waiting for something like this. This to fall out and then build a shoulder. I want to see a shoulder, head, inverted shoulder. But then again, this does show a lot of strength when you have a raised shoulder. It shows the bulls are in control. So you come down to a shoulder, head, the higher shoulder, and then break out. I'm hoping for a sweep. Even if it's a little bit higher, I want to see a sweep. So if you're wondering what I'm trying to do, that's what I'm trying to do. Oh, excellent, Mrs. Stott. I don't think that's a bad buy. And I talked about PLG in the past. The platinum. That's the only platinum miner that I'm interested in. And you know what validated it for me? When Scotty Trades MQ was talking about it, I'm like, you know what? I need to go a little bit. I need to go deeper than even I was going to. Because I was seeing the same thing on the chart. So I just wait for days like today. It was down like 8% earlier today. I could believe it. And it's back tested this so perfectly here. And this has been a very long time coming for PLG. And we'll get back into crypto. But if you're a fan of what I do, this is one of my favorite parts as well. Now, obviously, this is just my opinion. So you have higher lows, higher low, a high, a lower high, a lower high. This looks like a descending wedge. It looks like the making of a descending wedge. And for anybody who knows, a descending wedge is a bullish reversal. And that all-time chart is a huge bullish reversal, and it targets $24 in time. Yes, we're going to have to be patient. We're going to have to be patient. Yeah, Mr. Stott, I'd be glad too. See, our significant others know what they're doing. And the reason I'm happy about this is, look, this volume is incredible. See, when we had to push up volume, see the consolidation making a huge cup? Notice it's a big cup, and we'll show you the significance. But notice how the volume crashed on the price contraction. That's a huge bullish signal. That means the sellers dried up in that period. And yeah, the price went down, but the sellers dried out. And the moment we started to go up, volume exploded. That's confirming this breakout. And we're breaking out of the structure. Everything about this screams that it's undervalued. And we're going to go back into the... Look out where this was at back in 2014. That was at $105. That wasn't by an accident. If you just want to go into where the consolidation started, you're talking about $10 back in 2017. So we've been in this consolidation for almost 10 years. The breakout target, as long as we do it by July of this year, and we confirm this, and we've already broke out and we're trying to confirm it now, the target would be minimum of $24. Like some of these targets, people laugh. This is just as laughable to some people as when I predicted the targets in crypto and said when XRP was at $2, approximately $1.98, that we're going to be buying it at sub 30 cents or sub 40 cents, and people laugh. When I said like things like DGB, which was at 17, 18 cents, was going to be flipping as double zeros, and how ZIL would flip a zero, and it was at almost 20 cents, 25 cents, and how VeChain would be down in 1 and 2 cents, and how we'd buy XLM sub 10 cents, and how we'd buy Algo at 10 cents and beyond, and things like that. And we talked about it in 2021, and I look like an idiot, especially in 22, but once I got there in 23, and now it's the same thing with these price targets to the top side are absolutely legitimate. We've been building on these for decades on some of these. It's been incredible. That's an incredible, that descending wedge. Oh my God. I can't wait for somebody to be in the classes. And if you want to learn deeper, please join the classes. All of you who, yes, thank you, my love. You got done with the feeding? Oh, you're going to do it after. You let us, oh yeah, he was eating. He seemed happy. It's good that he has an appetite. Hey, buddy. Yeah, we got you cars. Hold on, guys. I'm going to give TT the cars. Yeah, we got you cars. You want to open them? Let's see your eyes. Look at TT. Look at these cars. What do you think? I've never seen these ones, have you? No? What about these ones, buddy? Look at these. Yeah. And then look at that's this kind. Yeah. We thought you might like them. Yeah. What do you think? Don't worry, TT. I'm going to move. Guys, I'm going to move this into the other room. I appreciate your patience, and for the 79 people who's, if you stick around, I greatly appreciate it. Tommy's being very, very patient. Thank you, buddy. Yeah. Everybody's wishing for you to get better quickly with... Hi, everybody. Here, Tommy. Oh. Say hi to everybody. Hope we can't see you, buddy. There you are. Yeah, there you are. Say hi, everybody. All right, everybody. I'm going to put this away real quick. Don't worry, Tommy. I'm going to put this away, buddy. So that you can do your own thing. I want you to be able to run around. Yeah, don't worry. I'm putting this away. Okay. Here you go, Tommy. Here you go, buddy. You good? Yeah? Okay, so I'm gonna put the cars right there. Okay, my love. Love you. Yeah. You stay happy, buddy. I gotta go into the 18-year-old room, and she left it a little messy. She went back to college. Okay, I'll be right back. I just want to make sure Julie's got everything she needs. But study this real quick. But you got to remember, it's all about the trend. Actually, it's not a descending. What am I talking about? It's a descending wedge, not triangle. Descending triangle would be a bearish consolidation. We're talking about the wedge. Sorry, I got distracted with my son. Forget what I'm talking about. Descending wedge is what we're talking about, okay? Or the falling wedge. You see the remote, Julie? Okay, sorry about that, everybody. I don't know how many people are going to still be here, but for anybody who knows, my son is nonverbal and he's autistic, and he has a G-tube, so, you know, it's kind of a team effort between me and Julie when it comes to everything, so we just try to do what we have to do. 77 people, not bad at all. I'm call me impressed, actually. So, with this falling wedge, the descending wedge, these are typically bullish consolidations, and in PLG, if we actually take an honest look at it, I believe it fits the classification. We have lower highs, higher lows. If we look at this, we've got lower highs. Actually, wait a minute. Did we have higher lows? My son just sneezed. I don't know. Or symmetrical triangle might be what it is. That might be what it is. No. Let's look at this. I drew so much shit on there. Sorry, I got distracted with my son, and I'm in between two thoughts I had. That's how you train, brother. Hit it on the go. What's up and show how you got there. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Let's go back to the thought. Let's see. Let's get rid of this. Got to be able to see this. I drew so much stuff on here. Hold on. I appreciate everybody who's patient. Resistance, breaking out of that resistance. Uptrend. I mean, I guess it could be a symmetrical triangle. Interesting. I'm going to have to watch that a little bit. If you guys were watching this, what would you say this setup was? Out of curiosity. What would you say this setup was? I'm just curious. Curious. When in doubt, force AI to answer. Put it on the spot.
Based on the chart of Platinum Group Metals Limited, PLG, the price action over the last several years is forming a classic symmetrical triangle, or a large consolidation wedge. While your lines highlight the specific touch points, if we look at the raw price action, here is the breakdown of that pattern. 1. In technical analysis, what you are seeing is indeed a bullish consolidation within a massive symmetrical triangle. The bullish bias comes from the fact that it has successfully held a double bottom support, around 90 cents, and is now attacking the long-term descending resistance line with increasing momentum. Since the price is currently sitting around 2.81 as of January 16, 2026, and attempting to hold above that orange resistance line, here is how the targets are traditionally calculated from an objective standpoint. 1. The measured move, the technical target. The most common way to set a target for a symmetrical triangle breakout is to measure the widest part of the triangle, the height, and project that distance upward from the breakout point. The math. If the triangle's height, from the 2008 peak to the 2018 floor, is approximately 15 minus 20, adding that to a breakout point of 2.50 gives you a long-term technical target IN the asterisk.
About Mrs. Stott if she bought it in the mid $2 range and it goes to 17 to 22.50. That's the projected target. My target says 24.84 from a technical standpoint. From what they're looking at without looking at my lines and everything, the technical target's 17.50 to 22.50. You've also got the extensions on the Fibonacci's. The initial target would be $3.67. Secondary would be $4.35, and major resistance at $9, which is the historical supply zone. So, I mean, it's a great way to look at this. And then if you look at the measured move, the home run, and that's based on my full triangle height, is 24.84. So, you know, but the technical breakout target is there. So, and technically this pattern should hold. And every time it breaks down and it's below this pattern, it's a gift. At the weekly, that's a weekly breakout. That's a weekly breakout right here. It back tested the move it closed at a newer high. The low, I mean the high or the candle close was above the high of the last week, validating a pattern reversal. Now it's all going to depend how this next weekly candle goes. It could start out hot to start the week. It could start out hot and volume increased. Did you just say $24? Yeah, it's technically like the AI's interpretation was 17.50 to 22.50 roughly is the price target with that pattern consolidation. I've gotten it to where it could get up to $24, but I wouldn't mind $17 either. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, that's the actual estimate. This has been in a symmetrical triangle since 2017. I had to look at it again. I'm like, wait a minute. It's got uptrend, so it's got higher lows and lower highs. That's a symmetrical triangle. It would have needed lower highs and lower lows to be a wedge. And then it would have needed the flat support and a downtrending resistance to be a descending triangle. So you see how clear that is, how similar that is? So flat support, downtrending resistance. So that's a descending triangle. When you've got downtrending resistance and downtrending support, so creating lower highs and lower low that create a descending style wedge, or you have uptrending support making higher lows and lower highs on the downtrending resistance, which makes a symmetrical triangle. It's so similar, but so different. So you start to train the brain. So when you're in here, I like to do stuff like this. Mrs. Stott, can I ask you a question, love? By being in here and watching all these patterns, do you feel confident? And I know you'll be part of the classes, and it's a blessing. Do you feel more comfortable when you see a triangle set up like this saying, okay, this is a symmetrical triangle, or this is a descending triangle, or this is a descending wedge? Do you feel at least more comfortable when you go into this, like you're not blind? Like, okay, I know this is a symmetrical triangle. Tom's taught me if there's lower highs and higher lows that create a descending triangle looking thing, well, that's actually a symmetrical triangle because it doesn't meet the standard. What chart is this? This is PLG, and I'm using it for an example. It's one I'm invested in. It's PLG. It's a platinum, basically. It's a platinum miner, if you want to put it that way. It's the only one on the platinum sides. It's platinum group metals. It's the only one that I like on that side for platinum. Obviously, I have my gold plays that I like, but the reason I have this particular gold miner and these three particular silver miners, and you see the rest of them are taken off, is because these are the ones that I think are going to have brilliant returns. See, okay, excellent, Mrs. Stott. And that's why I think repetition is key. Because when I first started doing technicals, I used to get so darn confused between the symmetrical and the descending triangle, the descending wedge, the symmetrical triangle, the ascending wedge, the ascending triangle, the rising wedge, the falling wedge, the broadening wedge. There's all this it's all this stuff, but there's head and shoulders, inverted head and shoulders. Then you got the double top, the M double top, you got the Bart Simpson top, and you got all this stuff. That once you start to learn it, it really, and it doesn't matter what market. That's what I'm trying to teach everybody. If you can learn it in one market, you can learn it at every one. The bull trap wedge, I mean, there's so many different ones. The bear trap, yeah, the bear. But the think about it. The bear trap wedge would be the symmetrical triangle. It looks like it's breaking down, but instead it's actually a bullish consolidation. That would be a bear trap. So a symmetrical triangle in the fashion we see is actually a bear trap. The ascending, like an ascending wedge, is actually a bull trap. A descending wedge is a bear trap. The descending triangle is a bearish consolidation. The ascending triangle is a bullish continuation. You know, all these things. Bro, you just hurt my head with all that. I'll just follow you. I love it. Thank you, Anthony. It is a lot. But I promise if you come every day, I'm here every single day. And we were already here 2 hours earlier on a live. And as long as I can be here and my son's having a good day, I'll be here. And look, even on a day like today, 78 people in here, 75 likes. You guys are all brilliant. And like everybody, I don't want you to think just because I'm going to be doing paid classes, because I had an offer to become a financial analyst and or, you know, a advisor. But I had to, there would have been some disclosure disagreements, and I couldn't do this channel the way I do it if I would have done that. So I decided to bet on myself. So I want to teach classes independently. I used to teach classes and other things, so it's not going to be, it's not foreign to me. I've already been a teacher in other areas, certified nutrition and all that stuff, and a personal trainer, dual certified, and a couple other things. But that's not going to affect what I do in here. This is just going to take it deeper. So it's always going to be free for all this information. Like, this is never going to change. I'm always going to do this every single day. You're not even going to know I'm doing classes. Like, it's going to be exactly the same. I've been doing this since March 24th of 2021, and I've never missed a day, believe it or not. Not one single day. And I don't plan on it because I believe in repetition and I believe in consistency. Consistency breeds the response. I firmly believe that. So this is just a breakdown of the so I said we are XRP future millionaire. Most people just watch the charts. They teach you how to read them, whether you're here for XRP or looking to dominate other markets. You found the right home for strategy and growth. The daily live analysis is free. I go live every single day to provide free technical analysis and real-time charting. I don't just give you the what. I show you the how so you can stay ahead of volatility. Watch and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And then the live mastery class is starting in February. That's the price. Ready to stop guessing? Join my exclusive classes. Live classes for total market mastery. I teach you the strategies, indicators, and investor psychology needed to trade any market, any chart, anywhere. And that would be join the inner circle. And then if you want the wild side of what I do, it's for the unfiltered side, XRP conspiracy, satire, and far-fetched what-if theories. And that's my official Facebook page, which, you know, ever since I switched what I'm starting to do here, because I get bored doing the same thing. We've had some quite the views here, 101,000, 114,000, 121,000, 90,900. So followers are picking up like 300 followers the last day and a half. So, you know, so there's a lot of things that I like to do. So if you want to help support, same time videos would be great. Yep. So I think I found a way. And then this is just this is a rough draft of what to expect. And you can only see this because I'm in that set, but this is a rough thing to expect. So like we go through the foundations of value, we go through the evolution of money, we go through hard assets, the purpose of investing, market ecosystem, psychology of the trade, the human bias in the markets, developing the trader mindset. That's before we ever get into the charts, guys. So you can learn the charts all you want, but that we're going to go through different phases, and I believe 7 modules in 4 phases, I believe, before we ever, or phase 4 is technical analysis. So there's so much that goes into it, and I had to learn all of that. I did it in the opposite direction. I learned how to chart before I understood the rest, and it was a deadly road, because then I think I knew everything, and I knew shit. So it's going to be really nice. I really enjoy, I enjoy the product that we're turning into in 2026. It's all coming together. No, don't worry about it, Mr. Stott. We've done a great job hitting the like button. There's 72 people left in here. 79 people hit the like button. Like I said, I'm very blessed. I'm very blessed. Even in a time of uncertainty, so many people, and I know a lot of people are giving up in the crypto market. I get it. I know it. I feel it. Don't give up. There's so much still to be had. Crypto Fear and Greed Index. It's good news, okay? Bit of good news. Yesterday, or before it flipped, we're at 62. Then it went down to 49. Now it's still neutral at 50. This is good news. Because now that we have the possibility of the market starting to advance again and try to finish off this three-wave correction, at worst, if this is a C wave up, a lot of people now have gone back to nothing's going to happen. It's all over. The market's exactly as crappy as I thought it was. Yada, yada, yada. If we look at the Bitcoin long versus short ratio in the 24 hours, 49.2% going long, 50.74% going short, about a $700 million disparity if it goes up to liquidate over going short. 23.18 billion long, 23.88 billion short. Ethereum has 48.59% long, 51.41% long. I mean short. 20 billion long and 21.18 billion short. That means it would be 1.17 billion if we go up that we could liquidate from short traders over long. And then with XRP, for XRP, we have in the last 24 hours 48.55% going long, 51.45% going short. That's about, what is that, $100 million approximately if we go up to liquidate. So this potential $24 XRP coming into, no. That's not even for XRP, but XRP eventually, I believe, is going to get a push to $10 to $20. I think it's encoded in it, but it's going to take time. That was PLG, but the target's like 1750 to 2250. But based on the symmetrical triangle, it says it can go up to $24. Yes, that is not FUD. That's true. Whoa. Plant, good to see you. Thanks not only for being in town zone for your second month with the Dusty Autos Crypto News. Upgrades of the classes. Wow. Are you serious? I can't wait to see you in there in February, my friend. It's the first Monday of February. It's February 2nd. It's going to be explosive. And if you're not there live, it's okay. It's going to be there on the repeat, so you can watch it in that section on YouTube now in that category. And it's going to be spectacular. Thank you so much for that. Any thoughts on Sky? I guess I can't bother because I'm not too familiar. I would have to do a little research. I'll keep that in the back of my head, though. I like to remember things people bring up. I think right now Bitcoin is trying to push up. And I think the way it would push up is the technical target out of, and again, guys, let's take a look at the pattern. Remember, PLG? What's this? A symmetrical triangle, downtrending resistance, uptrending support. See how this happened? Doesn't that look very familiar to the chart we just discussed? And this is what was the importance of PLG, why we could use it. We have that uptrending support, and this is a much larger pattern, don't get me wrong. That's a symmetrical triangle, and it broke out, and the target would be approximately where it's showing. With Bitcoin, I think it wasn't a symmetrical triangle, at least. I think it was. And it broke out of the short-term symmetrical triangle. And that should push us up to that rising wedge area. The technical target breaking out of the symmetrical triangle, and we have it on the other one. The technical target gets you up to approximately, And let's just measure this to make sure it didn't mess it up with YouTube, which it did. The technical target out of this symmetrical triangle. Oh, how convenient. Wow, you can't make that up if you tried, can you? Bitcoin's technical target out of the symmetrical triangle brings you to backtest a very important level. Do you remember what that is? That's the resistance over the top, that level. That's your over the top resistance that keeps you bullish or bearish. Put you over the symmetrical, or put you back over the rising wedge. But see how important technical analysis is? So you learned about the symmetrical triangle just now with PLG, and now you see it with Bitcoin. So if PLG's bullish, if it stays over the top, that means if Bitcoin holds 91,950, and in real time it could be down to 91,800, it's bullish, and the technical target's 108,000 unless it breaks down. So what does that tell you? XRP is going to absolutely have some firepower to get up to where it needs to go as long as this plays out. If we look at the other chart for Bitcoin, 100,000 is the rising wedge, but if we get back inside of here because of a huge bullish move, let's take it from here. Come down to the bottom. Take this. I mean, you're going to be over the top. So this one says 105. And I don't mind because I have two different lengths. So let's just say it goes to 105. Does that mean now for Bitcoin it would backtest? And now we're getting bullish again? And this is actually a big inverted head? I don't know. That's what's cool about speculating on these charts. And we continue to do it every single day. And it's an incredible journey that we've been on together. And did you notice my picture? How different it was today? Did you guys notice my picture? Where's it at? Crap. I didn't save it. Well, I had to have saved it somehow. I have it as my picture. Wait a minute. No, because it doesn't say wave C starting in my picture. I like my picture. It was supposed to give a little bit of happiness. Happiness. Yeah, right here. See, I'm even in a suit. Look at that. That's not the right one because my XRP Future Millionaire looks better than that. I think that's when I was trying to... Yeah, there we go. That's the right one. See the prosperity now. Isn't that more positive? Does that give you a better feeling than my dark one? Just out of curiosity, did that give you a better feeling or did you like the dark one anyhow? I don't know, I kind of like the touch with the suit. Happiness is a warm gun. Yes, I agree. Thank you, Mrs. Stott. I appreciate it. I know we're coming to the end here this evening because I want to go out there and make sure my son's good. Smart. Thank you, Mark. Thank you. I want to instill happiness because, even, and the whole point of the dark one is like on my channel, right now, my thing is to, show that XRP can come out of the darkness. That's the whole point. I guess I shouldn't have gave away that I was leaving, but yeah, I'm going to go check on my son. I thank everybody who was here during this live. I try to be creative, Mrs. Stott. I try to keep it creative, but I appreciate everybody who was here. And isn't it funny how everything kind of sets up the same? We went from a minor, we went from a minor with the ascending triangle. I mean, the symmetrical triangle, and then we've seen it in Bitcoin as well. So we'll see if they play out. I'm excited to have you in there, Plant Goodness, or Good Seas. So I'm happy to learn in your class for how much you help others have success is very generous of you. Oh, I appreciate that. Your success is my success. You're part of my technical tree now. For as much as you all succeed, it's good karma when I meet the man upstairs later on. It really is. I'm pushing the message. Amen. And with that, have a good night, everybody. Be safe. Be blessed. If you have family, spend time with your kids. Say a prayer. Give them a hug. You never know what tomorrow brings. Be thankful for in this moment we had each other. And when we come back, we'll try to do even better than we did today. And I'm just very appreciative this evening and thankful that all of you decided to come back. We were already here 2 hours, which made it like 3 hours.